some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just
Good morning, everyone, and I hope you are having a great, Thursday. It is August the 21st. We have all made it. We are currently off the rails on the Petty Express, but, it's a normal day. We've got a lot of news for you, some final form Jesus that will make you question, well, reality and the end times. As always, Lord Chippy. And a Lord Chippy that I think might heal your soul, because I think one state has finally gotten at least partially the right answer to some things. I'm glad you will, Audio Coffee. Our first story is incredibly sad. You might know this judge if you've ever seen some of his work in traffic court. He was an incredibly compassionate and caring judge who would listen to people's lives about, when they got a traffic citation, and would try to do his best to listen and just be a really good judge. The world lost a really good judge, and he made my day. Y'all, I will say Godspeed, Judge Frank Capero, because you brightened up some dark days. I just come across this clip and it'd be like, you know what? The world's going to be okay. So hopefully he is accepted into whatever, afterlife he believed in, and is having a grand old time. Probably, hanging out with Judge Wapner, to be honest. Judge Frank Caparo, who is known for his heartwarming viral court moments, has unfortunately passed away. He was 88 years old. Now, according to statements shared on his official Facebook page, the former Providence, Rhode Island judge passed away peacefully at the age of 88 after a long and courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. Beloved for his compassion, humility, and unwavering belief in the goodness of people, Judge Capero touched the lives of millions through his work in the courtroom and beyond, the statement continued. His warmth and humor and kindness left an indelible mark on all who knew him. He just seems like the nicest judge in the world. The statement went on and said he will not only be remembered as a respected judge, but as a devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and friend. His legacy continues on in countless acts of kindness he inspired. In his honor, may we strive to bring a little more compassion into the world, just as he did every day. Now, many know Capero from his TV show, Caught in Providence, in which clips from the series have gone viral on social media. He became known as the nicest judge in the world for his compassion in the courtroom and leniency he provided to those who needed it the most. Now, the show aired in 2000 and earned 4 daytime Emmys. Compassion, understanding, and sympathy emanates from my upbringing in early childhood, he told GAM3 in February while he was promoting his book, Compassion in Court, Life-Changing Stories from America's Nicest Judge. My parents were from Italy, and they took care of all the neighbors and helped them. It was those influences that really influenced my life. Sometimes you can change somebody's life just by placing your hand on their shoulder and telling them that you believe in them, he said. Now, he was born in November 23rd, 1936. He grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, where he would go on to serve as a municipal court judge for nearly 50 years. Now, prior to, being involved in the judicial system, he taught American government at Hope High School in Providence. While teaching, he also attended night school at the Suffolk University School of Law in Boston. Now, he served as Providence Municipal Court Judge from 1985 to 2023. In December 2023, very shortly after his 87th birthday, he shared an emotional video on social media revealing that he had a cancer diagnosis. I would ask each of you in your own way to please pray for me, he said at the beginning of the video. Quite recently, I wasn't feeling well, and I received a medical examination, and the report was not a good one. I've been diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, which is an insidious form of cancer, he continued. Capero said he was treating the disease. I know this is a long road, and I'm fully prepared to fight as hard as I can, he added, and he thanked his followers for their kind messages. I am in need of the power of prayer, which I believe, in addition to medical treatment that I'm receiving, is the most powerful weapon in helping me survive this. Just knowing that you are keeping me in your thoughts means the world to me. What a class act. In May 2024, Capero completed his last radiation treatment and shared on social media that he had rung the bell at Baptist Health Cancer Care to mark the occasion. In one of his very last videos on his official Instagram page, which was shared on Tuesday, Capero said that he had had a little setback and was back in the hospital, but asked his followers to remember him in their prayers once more. I ask you again, if it's not too much, just remember me in your prayers. Now, he is survived by his wife, Joyce. They were together for almost 60 years. So I'm going to ask you guys, we've seen how Sharon is dealing with the loss of Ozzy Osbourne, and Joyce is going to be dealing with losing someone that she's had a partnership with, a life with for 60 years. So keep her in your prayers too, along with all of your family or all of his family and friends. If you pray, if you don't, in the universe or to the giant spaghetti monster in the sky. Look, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you'd like to do it, I think it would be a lovely gesture. Now, beyond his wife, he's survived by their 5 children, 7 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, according to his official website. So, a real loss for the world. I think we need a puppy kitten break. I don't know. This one hit me hard, y'all. And usually I'm not affected by kind of people I'm not related to, their deaths. But, his clips brightened up my days. And if they brightened up your days, maybe just have a little thought, leave a comment, let the family know you appreciated his work. We're taking a puppy kitten break.
Like a dumpster dive, and humans forget how to thrive. Take a break, just you and me, with a puppy and kitten, wild and free. Paws and purrs, let's drift away to a land where tails wag and play. No more noise, just gentle muse in our furry four-legged cruise.
Yes. In another terrible story, and this has just come out, so I am sure that I will be doing an update. I do plan to add a Saturday and Sunday news edition too, so I will probably be covering this as well. But this will probably not have a lot of details, but I do want to get this story out to you. Now, from what we know right now from the headline, a depressed mother of a perfect family took the lives of herself, her husband, and her children in New Hampshire in a horrific crime scene just days after posting a very grim and kind of morose TikTok. So things are still coming out on this one. We will probably not know a whole lot, but definitely we'll keep you guys in, the loop with this one. Now, a quote unquote depressed mother, and it is quoted or in inverted commas in the article, so this is probably not an official mental health diagnosis. took the life of her husband and 2 young children before taking her own life in New Hampshire just days after sharing her ongoing struggles in a chilling video on social media. Now, Emily Long's 34 was found with a self-deletion, shot to her. She allegedly had taken her husband's life, Ryan Long, and their 2 children, Parker and Ryan. Now, this was all found out early Monday morning, according to New Hampshire Attorney General's office. Now, I'm not going to go into kind of what all of this is. There is some kind of information, but until it's given out in a medical report, I want to make sure that it's okay. Now, the family's father was reportedly battling terminal cancer prior to sustaining gunshot wounds, so this could have been a source of a lot of mental turmoil, according to the state's chief medical examiner. Now, all 3 deaths were ruled homicide, while the troubled mother's was deemed as a self-deletion. It was a perfect family as far as we knew, neighbor Bev Keitel told WBZ-TV. It's just shocking we didn't see it coming. Now, police discovered the scene, unfortunately, Monday night after receiving a haunting 911 call reporting multiple deaths inside the family's home. Now, a force multiplier was located near them. The couple's 3-year-old child is the lone survivor of this tragedy and was found alive and unharmed in the home and is now in the care of family members. Investigators said they have learned since of serious concerns and ongoing issues at the time of this, incident that maybe weren't shared around with people outside of their inner circle. One of the biggest questions they all have right now is motive, is why. Assistant Attorney General Ben Agati told CAX. And again, every family is going to have their internal struggles. I think we get really caught up in the Instagram perfect, and life isn't like that. Here, let me see if I've got my handy dandy visual aid. Where did I put it? Never mind. We'll figure it out. But things aren't picture perfect in real life. Every family's going to have their struggles. So maybe today, in honor of, Judge Frank, we should all take a moment to just reach out to the people in our life and make sure they're doing okay. Sometimes the strongest people are dealing with the strongest things, and they don't tend to, whine and complain. They tend to just put a stiff upper lip on it and keep going. Maybe reach out to someone who's always the strong one and just check up on them. Just make sure everyone's okay. Just a little bit of kindness, y'all. Now, while the motive remains unclear, the family's matriarch, who worked as the director of operations at a restaurant chain Wings It, according to her LinkedIn, often posted on social media about her struggles and despair as she coped with her husband's terminal cancer diagnosis. Ryan was a school psychologist at Oyster River Middle School in Durham and was reportedly diagnosed with glioblastoma, a incredibly aggressive form of brain cancer. Now, in a TikTok posted just 2 days before this horrific discovery took place, Emily told her nearly 8,000 followers that her children were definitely struggling and that she herself had been very depressed as she tried to restore healthy habits and normalcy in her home as her husband's health declined. "I am determined to create normalcy," she said in her grim video. "I've been struggling so much and really depressed, and I've kind of become reclusive. I just wanted to be with my kids and my husband. That being said, I'm making a change and it's starting today, and I'm making a point to get out of my depression and do this for my family." Now, this tragedy does remain under investigation, and if you're struggling with darkness, please call the national hotline. I am going to see if I can copy and paste it into the chat, and then if you're struggling, please reach out. Please don't let it become a tragedy. Please reach out. Now, I think we might have another case that is going to be off the rails and might require daily bingo cards of, Mo's felony effery in court. This case is going to be wild, you guys. I do want to try to cover the hearings on this. I know there's already been one passed. I do plan on getting everything done like the chaos demon that I am. But allegedly, and this is for the deputy sheriff who killed the judge, there are allegations that the Kentucky judge that was killed by a sheriff ran the courthouse like a brothel and traded sex for favors at twisted parties, according to one of the judge's alleged victims, or I guess alleges one of the judge's victims. Now, the rural Kentucky judge gunned down in his own chambers last year allegedly ran a twisted sex ring in which young women were coaxed into performing favors just to get out of trouble, says one of the victims. Now, Taya Adams alleges that she was among one of those caught up in Judge Kevin Mullen's apparent, pay to play, if you will, scheme that saw him and others in the small town of Whitesburg demand, love in exchange for cash or to get offenders off the hook. Now, Adams told News Nation's Banfield that Mullins, who was shot in his Letcher County chambers, allegedly by his longtime sheriff pal, Sean Steins, last September, had warned her to keep quiet about this so-called depraved ring. We would do parties and perform shows and have relations with them for money and things like that, Adams said. It was consensual, but the thing is that we were so young and then they used it against us and destroyed our life later. Now, Adams said she felt forced to go along with the judge's scheme because she feared that Child Protective Services would somehow get involved and upend her life. They would make sure you felt as small as possible and degraded, belittled as possible to take your power away, Adams said. It wasn't immediately clear if the woman had any prior run-ins with the law or if she was on CPS's radar at the time. She went on to say it was just a given that she would keep her mouth shut about the apparent depravity, insisting, who would believe me anyway? Because the whole town was doing it, no one cares. They're all swing. Okay, so this, I will put a caveat out here that I am not negating her story, but I do need to see evidence. With a story like this that involves a big conspiracy that you want me to buy personally, I'm going to need to have concrete evidence. I'm willing, if this turns out to be true, and this was a depraved, sex orgy for, not guilty, then let's take care of it and get to the bottom of it. But I need to see evidence before I believe, just a story. Now, separately, Sarah Davis, a former deputy jailer at the Letcher County lockup, told the outlet she had heard about nasty and sickening stories to come out of the party. Pretty much everyone in the county knows, she said, but it was confirmed to me after working in the county jail, especially after being invited to a party myself. Okay, this is corroborating evidence I need. Now, the claims only add to disturbing allegations that have emerged in the wake of Mullen's chilling caught-on-camera slaying last year, including that the slain judge had been running his courtroom like a brothel. It has since been revealed that one woman, Sabrina Atkins, threw Mullen's name into the mix during a 2022 criminal investigation into a Letcher County deputy sheriff who was later jailed for SA and sodomy of a female inmate. Now, Atkins, who claimed she was coerced by then Deputy Sheriff Ben Fields to perform favors in exchange for staying under house arrest, alleged that the judge was on a long-standing sort of sextortion racket. I saw Judge Mullins, have relations with a girl in the chambers, she told police in her interview at the time. Now, she added that Fields, who was fired in the wake of the probe, also had some videotapes and stuff like that in the judge's chamber with girls that would have been gross, let's be real. Now, it is unclear if the alleged sextortion scheme had anything to do with Mullen's shooting. Now, authorities have previously refused to rule out if there was a possible sex scandal, and that was the motive behind the bloodshed. The judge had been in a decades-long friend with his accused killer and was spotted having lunch with him just hours before his life was taken on September 18th. Now, this was all caught on surveillance footage and, definitely is one of these things that is a case we are going to be following. Now, Steins allegedly walked out and immediately surrendered, telling cops they're trying to kidnap my wife and child. Now, the sheriff's attorney later described the shooting as a crime of passion due to extreme emotional disturbance. Steins, who resigned days after the shooting, is being held in Eastern Kentucky jail without bond and has pled not guilty to the charge of murder of a public official. So definitely we're going to keep looking at this case, but I did want to give you a little bit of an update as they come out. Now, who did this? Snake Island for whoever did this, right? Look, I like my life comfortable. I like things that I can remember. I like things that, are familiar. And whoever did this needs to be, well, Snake Island. Just
curse, we got room for the wicked, the cruel, and the worst. If you lie, if you cheat, if your soul's made of bile, you're bound for the fangs and the venom in style. Oh, one-way ticket to Snake Island. Oh, better contents, less cowards and gaslighters. Go. No anchor, no lifeboat, no tearful goodbyes. Trust his and company, cold-blooded skies. Best after friend.
Now, what in the soulless march forward into modernity and crap spackle is this? I want my old Cracker Barrel back, and I demand it. Look, you don't want a bunch of feisty women who just want to sit in them rocking chairs. No. Cracker Barrel's controversial rebrand won't be stopped. That's what you say. Here's how the menus are changing. Good luck with that. Take hash brown casserole off there. See what happens, Cracker Barrel. I'll just see what happens, Cracker Barrel. I'll wait. And y'all wonder why I am a misogynist. Cracker Barrel is barreling along with its modern soulless remake. After months of criticism from fans, read customers, the people that pay you, Cracker Barrel, over the change remodeling efforts, Cracker Barrel announced a new logo change and menu updates on August 19th. Now, for the first time in 48 years, the Cracker Barrel logo will be text only with no images. It looks like a belt buckle, a sad belt buckle. When Cracker Barrel first opened in 1969, it had a logo with just text, but in 1977, it updated its logo to have the instantly recognizable man resting by a barrel. The restaurant said its new logo is, quote, now rooted even more closely to the iconic barrel shape and word mark that started it all, according to a press release. Read, we can't figure out, we don't have any good ideas, and we decided to remake it to look craptastic. Ugh. The iconic golden brown coloring is still there. Well, yeah, sorta. It's noted that the farm fresh scrambled eggs and buttermilk biscuits were the inspiration behind the color palette in the new campaign. Kiss my grits. I hate this. I hate modernity. What is wrong? Give me back my old Cracker Barrel. Now, this comes as the restaurant has received negative feedback over its redesigns, getting rid of the dark rustic aesthetic Oh, for God's sake, they got shiplap. That's it. This is outlawed. They have shiplap, and it looks like Joanna Gaines done invented and decorated. I hate this. Look, we had a good story. I hate this. Yeah, well, Cracker Barrel, good luck making any money ever again. I don't know if you know us in the Midwest, but we kind of like the things that we're comfortable with. We're a comfy sort of people here out in the Midwest Shires. We don't like things changed up. We don't want shiplap. We don't want to look like we're trying to live out of Target. We just want our biscuits, our, hash brown casserole, and everything else. So good luck, Cracker Barrel, because I have a feeling this is going to go not so well for you. But God bless you, and I'll be praying for you. Ugh. I hate this. I hate this so much. I know I shouldn't be this, pissed off. But it wasn't broke. It wasn't broke. Do you know how many times I drive past an empty Cracker Barrel? 0. None times in my life have I ever seen a dead silent Cracker Barrel. Hell no. It wasn't broke. I don't know why we're fixing it, and I hope it goes back. Hey, Joe. Oh, well, audio coffee. Imagine if someone, let's see, imagine if they tried to reinvent Greg's sausage roll with substandard stuff to make it modern, or Bakewell tarts. Ugh, look, I almost put that in final form, Jesus, because we need help. We need help. But on to actual final form Jesus. Again, I don't know that we're living in the end times, but all the headlines I go through, maybe he's back to save us all in his final form with a six pack.
The G-Keep Grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Well, now, in an odd perspective, I have to hide this particular story from my youngest, most feral, so he won't demand that I buy the radioactive shrimp so he can become an X-Man, because he loves shrimp and he would like to have superpowers. This is actually not a joke, you guys. Youngest, most feral would, in fact, eat radioactive shrimp. Look, I try to be a good mama. It just happens once in a while. But yeah, we got radioactive shrimps. Scrimps, as my son calls them. The Food and Drug Administration said Tuesday that the public should avoid eating certain frozen shrimp sold at Walmart due to concerns that the seafood may have been contaminated with radioactive material, as you do. Were they near Fukushima? What the hell? Where are we getting these shrimp from? Also, it is a bit ironic that it's the colossal jumbo shrimp. Okie dokie. Now, health officials said in a news release that investigative reports of cesium-137 contamination in shipping containers and frozen shrimp products that were processed by an Indonesian company, BT Barari Makmur Syajat of Indonesia, also known as BMS. You couldn't have put BMS Foods in the front? Oh, NBC News. Now, some of the raw frozen shrimp products were processed by the Indonesian company and sold at Walmarts in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, and West Virginia, according to the FDA. Now, among the products that are, affected, it includes Walmart's Great Value brand frozen shrimp. Now, if you've purchased any raw frozen shrimp from Walmart that matches this description, throw it away right now. Do not eat or serve the product. Health officials have advised people to talk to their healthcare providers if they think they might have been exposed to, the contaminant. Now, Walmart or BMS Foods did not immediately return requests for comments. Now, cesium-137 is a radioactive form of cesium, a soft, flexible silver-white metal that becomes liquid near room temperature. Now, it's used in medical devices and gauges, according to the EPA. Now, repeat exposure to low doses of CS-137 can increase risks of the big C. Again, radiation is going to try to destroy or poke holes in your DNA, and the big C is basically mutated cells growing out of control. So, oh my Lord, radioactive Florida man, I kind of want to see that, kind of don't. I mean, to be fair. Oh my God, they could team up with the wasps. Then we have the radioactive, furry friend Justice League. Y'all stay away. Now, health officials did caution that it didn't detect any of the CS-137 in any product, but that they might have been exposed to all this. So, just if you have the shrimp, don't eat them. Although you probably did pay like $25 for a bag of shrimp. Well, it isn't shrimp. This was over chicken tenders, if you'll believe it. Carnival is not having a good year, and apparently there was a big old brawl over some chicken tenders. Disturbing video shows moments that a Carnival cruise ship descend into a brawl after, well, chicken tenders. Now, disturbing photos are footage and, social media kind of clips captured the moment that a massive melee broke out on a Carnival cruise ship between fuming passengers, seemingly upset over, well, chicken tenders. Now, the violence between about 24 brawlers erupted aboard the Sunshine at about 2 a.m. on Monday. Look, nothing good ever happens after midnight, or really good stuff happens after midnight. There is no in between. Now, it was the last day of the voyage, and the ship was headed back to Miami, according to a passenger who was filming the mayhem. Where the F is security? One bystander could be heard yelling in the footage as passengers trade blows and slam each other to the ground. Again, not the best year for Carnival. Multiple security guards could be seen trying to break up the fight, with one overwhelmed officer fleeing the chaos and reaching for his radio as shoes went flying. At one point, Brock's content creator, Mike Terra, who filmed the uproar and shared it on his social media channels, flipped the camera to record his own reaction. "Y'all, this is over chicken tenders. It's crazy," Terra said in the video. The avid cruiser later responded to intrigued commenters, calling the ruckus an isolated incident that escalated over more than just food around 2 a.m. after the ship set sail from Miami. Now, when reached by the Post on Wednesday, Tara admitted, "We weren't close enough to know why the fight really started. We just knew they were in the line for food." Now, Tara captioned his video, "I always hear Carnival is ratchet and ghetto. I've been cruising for years, but this is my first time seeing some action on a ship while I was, I was there." Now, it does remain unclear. It might not have been chicken tenders. It might have been nuggets. It might have been wings. We don't know. Carnival did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comments. I'm okay not going on a cruise now. I'm kind of okay. In kind of scary news and something it is in final form Jesus, but I do want you guys to take notice of it if you live in the New England area, because I want y'all to be safe. I don't want anyone to have tick-borne diseases, but it is becoming very prevalent and it's turning people vegan, which I think is the real horror. I'm just kidding. I love my vegans, but this is definitely a health thing that I want you to be mindful of if you're going anywhere in the New England kind of area. Hundreds of residents of Martha's Vineyards are being forced to go vegan and becoming social pariahs. That's a little much, because of a teeny dangerous insect. That's not nice. We don't talk about, people like that. Oh, you're talking about ticks. Oh, well, that makes sense. A bizarre life-threatening tick-borne illness has made hundreds of residents of Martha's Vineyard allergic to red meat and dairy, turning many of them into forced vegans. And in their own estimation, social pariahs at the height of barbecue season on the ritzy island. First girl problems. Oh my goodness, Super T, I'm very sorry. And I do know that it's not by choice for a lot of you in my chat, and I don't care if you choose not to eat meat. That's fine. Just don't. I'm not going to tell you to eat bacon. You don't tell me to eat not bacon. We'll be good. If we could just leave each other alone, like I constantly have to yell at my two boys to do, my two youngest boys, it's like if you would stop focusing on everyone else and just focus on your daggone own self, you wouldn't be bickering and I wouldn't be yelling. Could we please stop this? For the love of Cheetos. Skyrocketing case of alpha-gal syndrome, a disease spread by bites from the Lone Star tick, have ripped through the scenic summer spot, with a total of 523 cases reported last year. "I woke up at 2 a.m. with major stomach cramps and I thought I had food poisoning," said Andrew Keenan, a 58-year-old former chef who had eaten skirt steak several hours before. "I managed to go back to sleep but woke up 4 hours later covered in hives. I sat up in bed and almost fainted just from sitting up. That's how low my blood pressure was." he said of the meal in 2020 that triggered anaphylactic shock. Now, Keegan took an antihistamine and was rushed to the hospital, where he soon learned that a bite from a tick was to blame. The violent meat allergy had prompted online support groups and an uptick in veganism and even alpha-gal-friendly restaurants to pop up on the island following, frightening health scares that seem to be happening. Kate Sidarsky, a 26-year-old teacher, said the illness also sucked the joy out of her social life in summer. It's had a huge impact on me, she told The Times. I can't trust a lot of places are going to be able to accommodate my allergies. Or going over to someone's house for a potluck or a barbecue, you don't want to be a social pariah by asking people, is this vegan? What about that? People who suffer from the allergy can't eat food that contains alpha-gal, a sugar molecule carried by the tick that is present in meats, including beef and venison. White sugar and dairy products ranging from butter to cheese are also off the menu. Now, one slip-up can cause nasty, potentially life-threatening symptoms, including hives, stomach cramps, vomiting, breathlessness, and these can often pop up about several hours after the meal was eaten. In most severe cases, victims can pass away from, anaphylactic shock if it's not treated. Now, to cater to the illnesses, grocery stores and restaurants on the island are selling more plant-based substitutes for ice cream, cheese, and meat, according to the report. Megan DeLeese, a general manager of the Black Dog restaurant in Edgertown, said that the eatery now offers a alpha-gal entree to cater to a rise in folks with the allergy. We have local people come in and they'll absolutely ask for alpha-gal entrees, no dairy, nothing with mammals. She said it's a big topic of conversation on local social media groups. People are talking about it all the time. They get a tick bite and they're scared, asking for advice. Others said they've stopped eating out altogether out of fear that they might fall ill from a rogue, drop of butter or cheese that's added into a menu. Now, the population of Lone Star ticks on Martha's Vineyard has bloomed with tall grasses and wooded areas in the recent years, and experts fear that it's going to get worse due to the island's growing number of deer. Each deer this time of year probably has a couple hundred ticks on them attached and feeding, producing new ticks for next year, a biologist who leads the island's tick safety program stated. There are anywhere from 75 to 55 deer per square mile on the island, and up from 40 to 60 in 2011. So definitely keep an idea about this, and make sure that you are checking yourself. Even if you don't live in New England, we've caught, ticks on youngest, most feral. They do go out and play in the woods. So we do have them check often, but check. And for those of you who are dealing with allergies and sensitivities like this must be incredibly hard to have to deal with, and the actual practicality of it. I'm glad that this locality is making it easier for them to go out by offering, products that cater to them and entrees that cater, because this is a big part. Eating is a big part of socializing. And I can imagine it would be very, very isolating to not be able to eat, or to have to be very careful about what you eat. So hopefully we can do better and maybe find a preventative or something that will help people once they've already had this. Well, the world is healing. Leggings are out. They're mean, apparently, according to Gen Z. Embarrassed and insecure, Gen Z hates this millennial fashion statement. It's body dysmorphia. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I do think flesh-colored leggings should be outlawed, because flesh-colored leggings are bad. Well, Gen Z is telling us that we must get rid of our leggings. After reigning as the choice activewear for 20-somethings, 20, years old, they've officially declared the, athleisure legging dead. Rather than breaking a sweat in skin-tight leggings, gym rats that are Gen Zers are now preferring a loose, baggy sweatpant. Yes, I just had to buy a pair of these for my daughter. Rather than the legging. So if you want to be hip and cool, because I know that's the most important thing to most of us, get yourself some sweatpants. I don't know why. I'm kind of good with it because, again, you know, comfy is my kind of jam. So I might actually, these are loose enough, I might actually be able to wear pants once in a while. I find nothing wrong with this other than the fact that I have to buy more clothes. So I'm okay with this. Again, I already had my traumatic breakup with my leggings when I got hurt about 3 or 4 years ago. So if you're going to have, kind of a sadness, grieve, I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend trying to do a Viking funeral in your HOA's pond, which I did, but you would think that they would understand my need to grieve. That being said, apparently flaming arrows are alarming. It's disrespectful. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that, but I wish I did. Mr. Mo wouldn't let me buy the bow and arrow. To be fair, probably one of his better ideas, given me having a bow and arrow is probably not the best idea for humanity in the first place. That being said, now it's going to seem weird when I give you this intro, but we have Lord Chippy, and I think we might be moving in the right direction. I think the universe might be healing. Now, it's still a gross, disgusting story, but I think we're on the right track. We just didn't go far enough.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Well, I mean, they've got it almost right, just not far enough. A serial offender who tried to assault a 7-year-old agrees to be castrated in a plea deal with Louisiana prosecutors. Unfortunately, it's only chemical, but we're on the right track. A serial child assaulter, again, the fact that we're giving him the option to be deballed and not, well, de-lifed, allegedly in Minecraft, is good-ish. I mean, it's a start. 1 second. Let's see. Thomas Allen McCartney, of a tier 3 offender, was, with a long rap sheet of, again, abuse, accepted the punishment on Tuesday, so he would be sentenced to both surgical and chemical castration. Okay, well, they did go far enough. Louisiana, I might want to move there. Let me see how the locality works out. Now, McCartney agreed to both the surgical and chemical castration and will serve 40 years in prison under the plea deal. Now, the plea deal follows the disturbing incident in February 2023 when a mother caught McCartney in the act of being gross with her daughter. Again, the fact that he made it out of that house alive with that mother shows that she has incredible, incredible control, because I don't. Now, McCartney brandished a firearm and attempted to escape the scene, fled across state lines, and he was later captured in a Houston hotel and extradited back to Louisiana. Now, he was previously convicted of attempted assault and arrested on 2 counts of assault on a 12-year-old in 2000. Why is he out of prison? Does anyone know? It's just insane. I don't understand why he's out of prison, why he was ever able to be walking free. This horrific crime should have never happened. Thomas McCartney is a predator that needs to be locked away from others in our community. Vernon Parish District Attorney Terry Lambert said in a statement to reporters. Now, Louisiana has become the first state where judges can order offenders guilty of certain gross crimes against children to undergo surgical castration under a bill signed into law by Governor Jeff Landry last year. Now, proponents of the Louisiana law, which took effect on August 1st, 2024, hope that the new possible punishment will deter people from committing crimes against children. However, opponents argue that it's cruel and unusual. I don't care. Go to Geneva if you don't like this. This is what we're doing. You don't get to hurt any more children. I'm sorry your Willie will never work again, but many children will be safe, so I don't care. That's all. Now, chemical castration is a procedure which involves using medication to reduce testosterone. Now, surgical castration involves an orchiotomy or removal of the testicles. I'm good with that we're doing the both option with this gentleman, and I'm okay with it. Again, if you don't like it, please move out of Louisiana. Mo will be moving there. Again, she should have the exact same punishment that the man was going to get because she falsely accused him. That is my stance. I do not like this. Stole his career and future. A woman falsely accused a military doctor of assault and then secretly recorded him in a frame-up gone awry. A Pennsylvania woman will spend time behind bars. Finally, punish these people. Punish these people. After she falsely reported an assault to law enforcement and illegally recorded the man she accused without his consent. In May, Veronica Rodriguez, 27, was found guilty by a Lebanon County jury on one count each of false reporting, intercepting communications, and disclosing intercepted communications. On Wednesday morning, the defendant was sentenced to 30 days in jail, and she will spend approximately 22 additional months on probation, according to the Lebanon County District Attorney's Office. Now, in January 2023, Rodriguez, who was at that time a member of the Pennsylvania Air National Guard, went on a date with a military doctor. The pair drank alcohol and did have relations in the man's car while parked at a Keystone Conference Center in Fort Indiana Town Gap, a sparsely populated census-designated place some 30 miles northwest of Harrisburg. Now, police approached the car for being parked after hours, and the incident later appeared on the police blotter. Now, Rodriguez later claimed that the encounter was not consensual and that the man took her glasses so she could not see clearly, according to a New York-based Fox affiliate. But timing was key. The woman only leveled the, assault claim after both she and the doctor were confronted by National Guard officials about fraternizing. Now, recordings tell a different story. Rodriguez told local police her phone had recorded part of the SA. Now, when police seized the phone, which contained both a conversation between the pair and part of their encounter, the ensuing investigation into the phone's contents contradicted some of the woman's claims. Detectives later discovered a text message back and forth where they set up another date. Investigators also found that Rodriguez had sent video and audio to another contact after describing her night with the doctor. The defendant had consensual sex and then secretly recorded that and bragged about it to multiple friends. She only cried, assault when confronted about fraternization with the victim by her military superior. District Attorney Peter Gaff wrote in a statement after the verdict, "She manipulated the secret recording to try to make it appear as if it was an assault. A full review of the defendant's cell phone evidence was damning and proved otherwise." Now, the prosecutor elaborated on the evidence against Rodriguez during a press conference after the verdict. The case has drawn local and national attention over how the state handled the incident. "Every step of the way, this was consensual," Graff said. "Not only do you have those messages between the two parties, but you have the way she described it to her friends in every text, in every message, it was consensual." Now, the district attorney took her critics to task in the post-sentencing statement. "It's no coincidence that all our members of law enforcement and the public who actually saw the evidence, who actually heard the testimony, and who actually had to endure listening to 60 minutes of a sexual encounter." 60 minutes? Good night, nurse. All came to the same conclusion that Veronica Rodriguez was not assaulted, that Veronica Rodriguez had lied to law enforcement. Now, the prosecutor also addressed the convicted woman for the role that she played in the doctor's forced resignation from his military career. With her heinous and wholly false report of assault, Rodriguez stole his career and his future. Graff went on, he resigned from the military, lost his pension, and still received continued harassment to this day. Yeah, she should get more than 20 days. She ruined someone's life because she got in trouble for doing the same thing. I just do not like people. Now, in what I can only say, if you buy this story, I've got some, I'll take you to the new Cracker Barrel with a smile on my face. That's what I'll do if you buy this story. I was afraid. A man accused in a quadruple murder claims that he was working with the FBI. Sure, Jan. Got his cover blown and ran because he was scared. A Tennessee man suspected of slaughtering 4 members of a family he allegedly just known for months after he had gotten out of prison has spoken openly for the first time about the slayings. Now, Austin Drummond told local media outlet that he was working as a confidential informant and that his cover was blown, insisting he had no reason to take anyone's life. Now, Drummond, 28, whose great life achievement has been racking up an assorted list of, like charge list, rap sheet of felonies and miscellaneous misdemeanors. Yeah, he's the one 000, MI6, the CIA, the FBI, and possibly NATO wanted this man of many talents and many felonies. Now, he is accused of taking the lives of James Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, Courtney Rose, and Braden Williams in July, but abandoning a 7-month-old baby who was related to them, in someone else's driveway, so did not take the baby's life. Now, this week, Drummond, who spent years behind bars before being released in late 2024, broke his silence about the killings in an interview with local CBS affiliate WTVF, insisting he'd been wrongly accused. Yes, it's a stitch-up. It's a frame-up. According to the outlet, Drummond claims that he was assisting authorities, including the FBI. Yes, because when they're looking for an asset, they're looking for a man that looks just like this, who has a rap sheet longer than my arm, and no discernible other skills. Yes, he's the perfect secret agent. Now, he claims that he was working with them in an undercover role that was aimed at cracking down on drug smuggling into correctional facilities. He alleges that he was able to help arrest drug dealers, cops, and gang members who are allegedly involved in all of the contraband smuggling. Now, he apparently told the outlet that he'd become a member of the Vice Lord's gang as part of the operation, but in the weeks before the slayings, his cover was blown. I really, really hope, because look, I'm not a gangologist, but I have heard that if you pretend that you are part of the gang and you actually aren't, you could get in trouble. So, I really hope that you filled out your Timu membership card for the Vice Lords, because I don't think they take kindly to saying you're a member when you're not. I don't know. I only watched The Wire for half an episode. Now, this according to him, led to the shooting deaths, though it's unclear as to how or why. Now, Drummond refused to provide further details because he has to make them up. They found out I was an informant, Drummond told the interview. I was afraid because I knew bad things happened, he claimed. I was afraid that because I was an informant, things could go wrong and things could happen to me. When asked why he ran, Drummond allegedly admitted that he shouldn't have run, but he was too scared. Now, he repeatedly insisted that he was innocent and had no reason to take the lives of any of the people whom he considers to be family, but he also allegedly admitted to being just a scotch involved. Now, he does have multiple convictions on his record for crimes including armed robbery, vandalism, retaliation for past actions, specifically an act of harming or threatening someone in response to their prior involvement in legal proceedings. Yeah, the FBI is totally going to pick this guy. They need the best of, current FBI, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think he's 000, king of the douchebags, but he's douche, king douche. But there you go. Maybe he is a secret MI6 agent, slash 007 slash 00 douche. I could be wrong. California? I don't know if this is the health related video of the year, but California has the plague. Be careful, California. I'll be praying for you too. Now, honestly, and without the sensationalism, there are still several cases of the plague that are documented in America. In, I think, New Mexico and California, just the conditions are right to have that particular kind of, infestation and things like that. But this is not good. I don't think I can handle the plague and the Kardashians coming from the same state, so California, please do better. A California resident has tested positive for plague after likely being bitten by an infected flea. Now, the person was camping in the South Lake Tahoe area, located in the Sierra Nevada mountains in eastern California, the El Dorado County Public Health Division said. Now, this is the first such infection reported in the county since 2020, when a case of human plague was also tracked back to the South Lake Tahoe area. Now, the resident is recovering at home under the supervision of medical professionals. Now, the plague is caused by a bacterium, Yersinia pestis, which is often transmitted to humans and other mammals via flea bites or handling infected animals. Now, rodent fleas spread the bacteria to people, dogs, cats, and other animals after being infected by chipmunk, squirrels, or wild critters. Now, an average of 7 people are diagnosed with confirmed cases of the plague each year in the United States. See, Mo was right. Listen to Mo. I'm just kidding. I'm semi-detachable right half the time on a good day. Now, these typically occur in the western part of the country. Most cases occur in northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, southern Colorado, California, southern Oregon, and far western Nevada, with over 80% of the U.S. plague cases being the bubonic form, also known as the Black Plague, according to the CDC. Now, again, it is naturally present in many parts of California, including higher elevation areas, including El Dorado County. So if you plan to go, to any of those states, maybe take extra precautions as far as, insect repellent and things like that. But this is not, something that is completely and totally out of the blue. I wouldn't get super de-duper Twitter-pated about it, but if you're going to be in the area, take extra precautions. Because we need a good doggo story. A dog named Dallas Cheddar was rescued after spending days with a bucket of cheese balls stuck on his head. Oh my Lord, this is something Fry would do. Fry would do this. I just know it. A stray dog in Pennsylvania spotted with a cheese ball bucket stuck to her head was rescued with the assistance of a volunteer drone operator, whom she was later named after. Now, the mutt managed to evade the canine rescue of central Pennsylvania and multiple thermal drones for days, all while navigating the world through the cramped lens of a snack container over her head. Now, the rescue worked with Find Toby, a nonprofit organization that helps recover lost dogs, and Nighthawk Drone Services, a licensed drone company that assists with everything from herd analysis to missing person cases. Now, after days of scouring York County for the frazzled pup, she was captured on a drone camera in a cornfield around 3 a.m. Wednesday. Now, the pooch was relatively calm as her rescuer clipped a leash on her, although she was dazed as she kept turning her head to try to get a good look at the strangers through the jar stuck on her head. Oh, poor girl. She's beautiful. I'm glad she's getting a happy new life. Now, the exhausted dog was taken to an emergency veterinary clinic for evaluation and finally freed from the confines of the junk food jar. The veterinarian concluded that the severely emaciated and tick-infested pup had not been able to drink or eat water in at least 3 days because of the jug. They ordered additional blood work just to make sure she had no other underlying issues. And then, helped her. And thank you, JKD Buck. My cat did this with a Nesquik can in the 80s. Okay, and JKD Buck and the rest of you guys can tell me, since they changed from the Nesquik can, I think Nesquik tastes different. I bring back the metal square can, cause, and y'all, look at you. The swear jar runneth over. Y'all are amazing. But I want the metal. Look, I'm getting to the age where I just want familiar things from nostalgia back. And you bring me back my Nesquik, rectangle square, and you bring me back my Cracker Barrel, and I'll be good, ish, for a couple days. Now the group has decided to name this beautiful puppy after her rescuer, drone operator Dallas Fuhrman. They tacked on a middle name in honor of the thing that got her in the predicament in the first place, Cheddar. So Dallas Cheddar is not yet available for adoption, the rescue said, but will be as soon as she's cleared and rehabilitated. In 2023, a dog in Michigan was also discovered by an animal shelter with his head stuck in a cheeseball jar. A Good Samaritan turned the sticky dog over to the shelter, which named him Cheeto, though a worker at the shelter tried hard to convince his co-workers that the pup should be named Jughead. To be fair, she is a beautiful dog. I hope she gets a good forever family and, has fun. And sometimes we need good stories of people taking care of people. And then sometimes we need stories about a JetBlue passenger stripping buck-ass naked 'cause reasons. I mean, goodness and joy comes from many different stories, and I cover the gambit here. A JetBlue passenger performed a bizarre striptease at an airport gate and mooned stunned passengers, as one does. He was just doing Pilates. A man gave a striptease that no one asked for and no one paid for. The unidentified man was dragged away from the JetBlue terminal in Boston's Logan Airport after he stripped down naked in front of passengers waiting to board their flight. Now, flyers at the airport's Terminal C were waiting to board their flight when a man shockingly took off all of his clothes to do some stretches in his undies, which were red. In a viral video of the jaw-dropping scene, seemingly posted by Cami Marie on Facebook, a man is seen lying on the floor in his brightly colored briefs, raising his feet in the air, then turning over onto his hands and knees and doing a cat-cow, which is surprisingly more intimate when you're pretty much semi-nude in an airport. With his rear end in the air, he then, he pulled down his briefs and mooned the crowd because, what do you need when you're anxious about flying some guy's ass in your face? At one point, the man discarded even his undies, spreading his arms wide and muttering something to himself while fully nude. He just stood there proudly, letting stunned travelers get a good look at his schmeckle. I do wonder if anyone asked him where his boarding pass might be because he didn't have any pockets. Had he produced it, I would have even more questions. As one does. Could you imagine being one of the lucky or unlucky flyers who managed all of this? Well, who managed to catch all of this right before their flight. Now, reportedly, Massachusetts state troopers... Oh, dude, you had to do this in Massachusetts? Oh, sir, you are not going to get the best service. The troopers showed up to calm the chaos and or add more. Massachusetts, I see you. Okay, MST, I see you, all right. Add in less chaos, sure. They carried the man, who had at least put his underoos back on, away. Now, it's unclear when the scene took place. JetBlue did not immediately respond to a request for comment. However, public indecency in Massachusetts can be punished with a fine, jail time, or both, but it's uncertain what happened to the flasher. Now, the scandalous act has gone viral as unruly travelers all over the world continue to, grace us with their ridiculous antics. Just recently, a flight broke out on Ryanair flight because of a baby's crying. A drunk Breeze Airways passenger yelled, racial slurs and broke free from restraints twice. And American Airlines passengers got into a screaming match with a flight attendant who allegedly busted him vaping. Again, as I always say, make the great American or UK or wherever you are road trip a thing again. I'm not going to be flying ever again, y'all. I do way too many stories about this craziness. Now, in our final story, because we need some hope for humanity, and I thought this was a good one, although a bit absurd. Let's see if so. He used his skateboard and a leash to rescue a skunk. Oh, Blossom, he's helping you. This looks like something my youngest, most feral would do. Of course, of course, he would. I mean, but then he'd still get sprayed by the skunk. I mean, because it's my youngest, most feral. A skunk trapped at the bottom of a skating bowl in Pennsylvania was rescued by a man who used a leash and a skateboard to give the animal an assist. Daniel Gavlin said she was out walking her dog in Reading when she came across the man attempting to fish for skunk out of a skating pool, as you do. Now, she posted the video to TikTok showing the man lowering the leash attached to his skateboard down the skate bowl where the skunk grabbed a hold of the handle with its mouth. The man was then able to hoist the skunk back onto flat pavement. Now, Gavin posted a second video showing the man attempting to get the skunk to let go of the leash, resulting in a brief tug of war before he allowed the animal to take the leash and tow his board across the park before letting go. So there you go. Good. No skunks were hurt, and we've gotten the show done in less time than I used to, or I've been thinking. But I do want to put something in your noggins, and I will probably put something about it on the community channel. Would you guys, I noticed that this has been running longer. There are just more headlines to come out. Would you guys like me to think about starting at 7 or 7:30 to again keep us where you guys can still go on and watch court cases or trials on time if you want to head over to Baker's or wherever? Just something to think about because I have been thinking about it because I do want to share the news with you guys, but I'm realizing that I'm wanting to pull more stories. So give a think about it. I'll probably be putting a, poll out on the community website or not the community page. I'm so terrible at this. I need an assistant. Yes, Kat, I will be coming to let you out of my room in just a minute. I've got people telling me to do things in 5 different places. So just a thought to put out there because I am noticing that these are running a bit longer and I would like to do this. Also, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I can only wear oh, no, not on my computer. Sir? Well, yes, I know. Y'all, this is Loki. Loki is not happy that I have been ignoring him because I've been sitting and streaming. He is very offended that I did not take my time to rescue him and get him as, to the door as he is wont to do. He is my fluffy one. He is the one that is responsible for wig destruction. Oh no, name and shame. Name and shame. This one has eaten every one of my wigs. He wants to eat them all. Sir, if you fall on my head, I give up. This is not going to work out the way you think it is. Anywho, if you have, I know you guys might not have the sensitivities I have, but if you have someone who has painful feet, honest to goodness, these are the only slipper socks that I can use, the only things that feel comfortable to me. And they're on sale at Walmart and they're Nightmare Before Halloween or Nightmare Before Christmas. So if you need a pair of slipper socks, I'm not saying that I'm buying every pair of these that they have, but I'm not confessing that I haven't. So, oh, I see why you love me now. Okay, my cat doesn't love me for me. I have my heat on and he just wants to lay on the heated chair. It's it's not easy to That's why you don't have an ego when you have children, because they will always, tell you about yourself in honesty. And he's more in love with me now that I have a heated, you know, chair. But he's not whining for me to open the door. In other news, we are going to be doing the Petty Express. We're going to be doing a short morning session. We have been, you guys know I'm streaming with Shizzy now on Wednesday nights, which was usually our Mr. Mo and I's date night. Well, we've decided to switch that to Thursday for lunch. So I'll be taking a Thursday lunch break, but then I'll be coming back and we'll be trying to get through day 2 into day 3 of the Wolfenberger case. So I'll still be starting at 10 today for kind of the normal morning session. But then I'll be stopping at 12, so we'll have a 2-hour stream then, and then I'll be coming back at around 1, and we'll probably go to about 4. So hopefully trying to get very close to on time, so maybe next week and we can start, on the day, or at least currently, I hope, in theory. And I will be continuing to look for Carl Patton's original trial. If anyone is in the locality and knows of maybe a local news station that covered Carl Patton's trial, that would be awesome. If not, I will continue to look for that. Now, I know that everyone is going to be covering the Donna Adelson case. And as much as I love Donna because I love playing her, I do not have access to my wigs right now. They are still in deep storage, and everyone's going to be doing the Donna Adelson case. So I am looking at gathering possible Holly Bobo case. So the trial from 7 years ago, and then the very recent hearing. So I'm looking for some things to do other than the Donna Adelson case. So those are my ideas. But if you guys would like to also just have me do the Donna Adelson case, that's fine. Let me know. I, again, will be I'm trying to be more like interactive. Again, I always think, what would Baker do? And Baker's very interactive with you guys and very on top of things. So I am attempting to put my own Mo spin on that. And in that vein, I would like to tempt you with, let's see, share screen, end screen, plus screen, share screen. Okay, I love that I'm a semi-professional-ish. Now, because the Christopher Wolfenberger case is about 12 shades of crazy, I've decided that we need a daily effery bingo card, because I was thinking maybe we'd do an end of the case bingo card, but I think that we are able to fill out a bingo card nearly every stream for this. Now, I'm trying to get with Jedi Jess to learn how I generate a jillion katon of these so we can play together. Today, it was just like a fig Newton from my brain at 3 a.m. So in true Mo fashion, I just simply jumped into the deep end and made a bingo card. But for next week, I do endeavor to have trial effery bingo cards, case specific, so that chat can play along as we go through the Petty Express. Again, it's something that I see Baker and you guys have a lot of fun with when he does it. Now, if I were a smart person, I would have asked Baker how he does do it before I just jumped into it, but that is not the way Mo operates. But I hopefully have gotten done with every bit of housekeeping, and thank you all so much for joining me on your mornings. I appreciate it so much. I have so much fun. And I figured this would be a fun thing to start to do. I am feeling a lot better. I am not going to lie, you guys, this year has been a lot harder on the CRPS front. I am trying to look at it as a glass half full, that I had 3 really good years that, didn't affect my life as much as it has this year. But I will say for the good 6 months of this year, it seems like hurry up and wait, and I would just keep getting sick or flare-ups. So I'm hoping that I'm kind of getting out of that tunnel and feeling more motivation, and things are coming together. So hopefully that's working out. And I appreciate you guys for hanging with me as I'm trying to navigate my body kind of changing. Because just as soon as I got used to figuring out where I thought, like that's a trigger, my body's like, everything's the trigger. And I was like, we are not that sensitive. But, life is like that. Take happiness in finding, your comfy pairs of socks and getting that, you know, just again, it's not been an easy year, but there are so many good things going on, and less in the spirit of Judge Frank and, spreading kindness. Let's do something nice and check in on our friends and family and just try to be a little bit kind in the memory of Judge Frank because, the world needs a lot of kindness. And if we can be the reason that someone stays a little brighter, let's try to do that. If you can do it with sarcasm too, do it with that. I mean, look, make someone smile, make someone giggle, make someone snort laugh. That's your Mama Mo mission for today. I love you all. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because honest to goodness, like kindness doesn't mean test the Jesus in me, okay? There's a fine line. Bye, you guys.